As VFR pilots, we've all made a paper nav log, scribbled out our weight and balance, and called flight service for a weather briefing. Now that does work, but it takes time and sometimes inaccuracies can slip through the cracks. Garmin Pilot, on the other hand, makes the VFR flight planning workflow go so much more smoothly. So let's dive into some of my favorite features and what makes Garmin Pilot the best app for VFR flight planning. Garmin Pilot does allow for quick creation of flight plans, and you can file directly in the app, but it is important to notice that the flight planning feature isn't reserved directly for people who are planning on filing. You can use it even if you're just on a casual VFR flight. So let's say we want to fly from Bolivar to Branson. We can go ahead and open our flight plan here. We can add our origin airport of Bolivar, and then we can add Branson, KBBG, as our destination. So now we've got a simple, basically point-to-point navigation right here, and you can see our magenta line. But let's say, okay, this cuts straight through the Charlie. I don't really want to do that. I want to skirt underneath the Charlie umbrella. Now we can't do that here because this goes from 5,300 feet to the surface. Now we could fly to Branson at 6,000 feet, 6,500 feet, but it's not going to be ideal just because it's not that long of a flight. So if we want to fly under it, we can go ahead and graphically edit this flight plan and say, I want to fly over Springfield downtown. We can go ahead and select Springfield downtown, and now it's going to create an along track waypoint that you fly over downtown so you can avoid that center section of the Charlie. So now based off of our current weather conditions, I can come in here and select an altitude, and it's showing a headwind all directions, so we don't want to fly high. I'm going to say 3,500 feet is probably about as low as I want to fly. If we fly at 1,500 feet, it's going to be 300 ADL, so this would be a little bit too low for my liking. So we can select 3,500. And that's going to put us straight through the Charlie as we fly over 3 Delta Whiskey because this umbrella is from 5,300 to 2,500 feet. So what I want to do is I want to be flying underneath the Charlie at 2,200 feet. So let's come in here and give this an altitude constraint of 2,200. So now we're specifying that we're going to fly at 2,200 until we reach that waypoint, and then we're going to climb. Now we can visualize this with the flight profile view, but look, it still cuts through the Charlie. So we're still going to have to call approach into this same flight plan if we begin climbing as soon as we get to Springfield downtown. So maybe what I should do is just drag this down outside of the Charlie umbrella. We'll have to use just the current location. Since we're not filing, this is okay. And now if we come in here and add our 2,200 foot altitude constraint, for some reason get rid of the altitude constraint at Branson. Whoops. So now let's add our 2,200 foot altitude constraint here. We can open up the flight profile, and now we're skirting underneath the Charlie altogether, so we're good there. Okay, so now once we have this flight plan exactly how we want it to go, we can set our departure time. Say we want to leave today at 12:55 p.m., and we can hit create trip. Now it takes us over to the trip planning screen where we can further refine this. We can add in some of the required fields. We can do our fuel planning here. We can get our weather briefing. So this will generate a PDF of the forecasted weather conditions along your route at the time that you've planned if you're within a 2-hour window of departure. So you can see this makes a 17-page long weather briefing that I can view all sorts of information. There's GAirmets, there's surface analysis. I can zoom in, I can make it full screen here if I want to view it in more detail. There's just all sorts of really, really good weather information packed in here. We can also do our weight and balance calculation directly from here. If we need to edit the load sheet, we can do that, modify our amount of fuel on board, we can modify how much our passengers weigh, and then hit done. Once we have this flight plan exactly how we like it, we can hit file once again, and then you're ready to call flight service when the time comes and you're good to go. So that's the basics of flight planning. Let's move on to some of the weather features that Garmin Pilot has for VFR flight planning. The first area that I want to talk about are the map overlays. So we can go to home, we can click on the map. I'll make this full screen. And then we can activate any of the weather overlays down here using this button in the bottom left-hand corner. Now there's some really, really good overlays, including radar. So you can specify your source by hitting this down arrow. I'm currently only connected to internet, but if I get connected to, say, a Sirius XM or an ADS-B weather source, I can switch between those here. And then I can zoom out and view a mosaic of the precipitation data. So there are some storms out here in Nebraska that we can view those. We can click on any of these vectors here and view more information about the storm cell as far as what direction it's moving, how fast it's moving. And then I think ADS-B information will have the echo top on there as well, which is really handy for trying to make a decision if you want to fly over them or not. You can also choose to overlay lightning here so you can see which cells have electrical activity and which ones don't, and then it'll even play back. So it'll show the direction the storm's moving, it'll show the radar, and it'll show the lightning strikes as they've happened in the past. It doesn't show current or future information, just keep that in mind. You can also overlay clouds, which I really like using these internet-based clouds because you can kind of see how large the clouds are surrounding the cells. Because if we have this turned off, now the storms don't look that bad. You're like, okay, well, I can just shoot around at VFR. But that may not be the case by the time we turn on the clouds. You can see it's got a big tail. Depending on how high these clouds are, you may or you may not be able to fly around it. So I really like this combination of radar and clouds. This is probably what I use most frequently, at least for summertime flying. And then in the wintertime, I may go ahead and switch to like the icing overlay, which we'll cover here in just a second. So over here on the right-hand side, you can choose to display the current weather conditions or forecasted weather conditions at any weather reporting airports in the area. So I don't have it turned on right now, but say we want to report the weather using METAR data. Now it's going to show kind of a color-coded circle over every single weather reporting airport. So these are color-coded. So green is VFR, blue is marginal, orange is IFR, and this purple color is low IFR. We can further refine this information by clicking on station ID down here and have it show any type of information that we want. So if we want to show the altimeter setting for all these airports or the visibility at these guys, whatever it is, you can just select that and view it for all the airports across the country. Now this gets really cool when you use like the TAF information. And now you're showing a different weather source, but you can scroll through and see what the forecasted weather conditions are going to look like at these different airports. Now the TAF gives you 24 hours, but if you want to go out to 72 hours, click on the model output statistic, and it'll give you the same thing. So you can click here and you can see how this weather is changing. And like previously, you can select what information you want displayed here. So this does get busy, so I don't leave it on most of the time, but sometimes it's just really good for figuring out what the general conditions are across the country if you're doing a long flight. Now, as opposed to doing weather reporting stations, you can turn on the icing overlay. So it's important to note when you have this icing overlay turned on that you need to select a chunk of altitude. So since it's summertime, you can only find ice in the flight levels. So as we go up, now we can see this icing information start to populate. You also need to select what kind of icing information you want to display. We have currently the severity and the supercooled large droplets of water at all probabilities turned on right now. You can choose to show something that's only a greater than 25% probability, which gets rid of it quite rapidly. And then you can also choose anything greater than 50% probability. And then you can also view just the probability of the icing as well. So you can really refine this data to exactly how you want to view it. You can also view the wind barbs for the entire country, and you can do the same thing where you select an altitude layer, and then you can select a time as well, so you can see how the winds are forecasted to change throughout time. So this is really good if you want to get a graphical representation of what the winds look like across the country. This is probably your best bet. You can also choose to view airmets and sigmets, which are very loud and in your face. You may want to turn the opacities down on these if you're going to use them, but then you can click on any of them and get more detailed information about, say, this convective sigmet right here. So you can do the same thing with PIREPs. However, just note from default, it's only showing PIREPs that are 15 minutes old. So you probably won't see very many of them, but as we increase the age, now they start to get a little more populous. So then you can click on any of the PIREPs here and it shows whether they're routine or urgent. Here's an A321 just reporting cloud tops. So this is good information if you want to view PIREPs in a graphical state, you can do that. And it even shows the little symbol indicating the PIREP type and the reported altitude. The last weather reported overlay is going to be your fuel prices that show at all the stations. So as you zoom in, you can start hunting around for the best fuel prices in the area and avoid kind of these high dollar like $8.64 a gallon at Gaston's. Don't get fuel at Gaston's. Okay, so we've gone through the map overlays. I do want to brush over the weather imagery section here. So this allows you to view all of the static charts published by the National Weather Service and by NOAA. And they're organized in a couple of different ways. So you can view them by hazard, you can view them by region, or by product type. So if you know the exact chart that you're looking for, say we want to view the surface analysis for the continental US right now, we can do that. We can zoom in on these maps. They are static, so they're not going to move and they're not going to overlay your current location. But it's nice to be able to view these directly in the Garmin Pilot app as opposed to needing to go to weather.gov or something like that. You can adjust the forecasted time frame here in the top. And then ones with an altitude constraint as well, like icing, we can choose what level we're going to fly at, and then we can choose the forecast time as well. So it's really nice if you want to really find the exact chart that pertains to you, as opposed to trying to find your target altitude and forecast period in a sea of icing charts. So this is a great feature. I will note these are not available on ADS-B, only on the internet. Okay, so we saw a little bit of it in the flight planning section, but the weight and balance feature is incredible for, well, all flight planning, not just VFR trip planning, but it's just great. It's an awesome feature, one of my top 5 favorite options of this app. So let me go in and we'll just specify 29 Hotel, which is a Piper Dakota. And if we want to run our weight and balance, we can go ahead and load up. Say we've got 2 people up front, and then we've got 100 pounds of baggage in the back, full fuel, and then we're going to use 58 gallons on our trip. So then it shows our takeoff, our landing, and our zero fuel weight and balance figures right here. You can adjust these sliders, see how it changes in real time. And then even if you want to view it as a graphical view like a top-down section of the aircraft, you can do that. So here are your seat stations, here's your cargo station, and your fuel station right here. You can click on those to refine the fuel, or even like hit tabs if we want to leave tabs. It also gives you some warnings here. So like if you don't have enough fuel, it'll warn you. And then if you are overweight, which it's tough to get in the Dakota, it'll warn you about being overweight as well. Also, you can sync this with your current flight plan. So if you want to turn that on there, it'll change to the aircraft that you have selected on the flight plan, and you can do your weight and balance. And the cool part about this is it'll automatically import your fuel. So the weight and balance feature is great. If you need to view the load sheet, you can prepare that there and view your load sheet for that flight. So yeah, that is kind of a super fast, high-level overview of weight and balance. I do have a specific video on setting up an airplane and calculating weight and balance in the app if that suits you better. The last feature, which is my favorite feature of Garmin Pilot, because you can't get it anywhere else, is going to be the flight profile. So we saw a little bit of it in the flight planning section, but this is absolutely amazing for flying around. This right here is exactly how I have my screen set up when I'm flying. I like having the map on top and the flight profile on the bottom. So then I can view the top down and I can view the side view of my flight path and know that I am safe. I know I'm clear of obstacles. I know I'm clear of airspace. It's just awesome. So you can come in here and specify the different layers, such as overlaying your wind barbs on your flight profile if you'd like. You can overlay icing, you can overlay clouds. You can have as much information as you want overlaid here on this horizontal view. If you want to view information about, let's say, a specific type of airspace, you can tap on it, and then it's also going to highlight it on the map as well. It's just very, very cool. Now, it does also work if you don't have a flight plan. So you can come down here and specify if you want it to go off of flight plan, track, or automatic. So if you're just flying and you don't have a destination set, it will assume that you're going to maintain your current track at a designated track vector length. And it'll just go ahead and show you the flight profile for the next 20 miles at your current heading or whatever you have selected here. So I leave that on auto. So if you have a flight plan loaded, it will default to that. But if you don't and it senses that you're flying, it'll just go off of the track vector. So this is just such an amazing feature. I really, really like this. It gives me great peace of mind when I'm flying. And hats off to Garmin for figuring out how to make this happen. Okay, so these features are why I think Garmin Pilot is the best app for VFR flyers. Instead of bouncing between paper charts, weather apps, and the POH, you can have it all there in a centralized location, have all this information available right at your fingertips. If you're flying VFR and haven't tried Garmin Pilot yet, I'd highly recommend it. There is a steep learning curve. Don't worry, I have all sorts of tutorials about how to use it, but I think it'll make you a better and safer pilot in the end. I thank you for watching this video till the end. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.